eBay. What sells on eBay and for how much? And how long does it take to sell? That's really the purpose of today's video. I've been asked by a few supporters of my channel to create a film of some of the solds that I've had recently. So hopefully you'll enjoy having a little look through some of the items I've sold, seeing how much I've sold them for, see the variety of items I've sold. All the items on today's video have been sold through eBay. Now, I have loads of comments on people saying, how can I afford to spend so much on antiques as I do? And the simple reason is I don't just rely on eBay. My eBay at the moment is very low. I haven't been putting the effort onto eBay. I've been preoccupied elsewhere, working on the website and other things. But when you consider I have a private website I sell from, I sell through supporters on YouTube, I sell through my shop, I sell through eBay and any other locations, Facebook, privately, antique fairs, you name it. That's how I shift enough stock that I can afford to spend the type of money that I spend. But for the purpose of today, we're going to take a look at my sales on eBay. Now, my 90-day total normally varies anywhere between £5,000 and £10,000, but you get out of eBay what you put in. So at the moment, £4,500 for 155 items. Now that works out at £29 something, so just under £30 an item again. So very similar to the last time I done one of these videos. £30 an item on average isn't bad, but it's not good for me either. I suppose on a good scale, I normally average £50 per item, but still, £30 an item, it's not a bad figure to have. So should we take a look at some of what I've sold? We're not going to look at everything, I'm just going to select some of the nicer pieces. So we'll start off here. I sold a beautiful monochrome painting, oil on board, signed by Pierre C. Johnson. But look at that for a painting. Absolutely spectacular. You got all the docked boats and you got the pier there in the water. It's a very dark painting, as in it's all blacks and greys, but it was a very appealing painting. Now I was asking £195. It sold for £165 plus 15 postage. So now I know a lot of you don't like doing the buy it now. Some of you would think it'd come across as desperate, but when you consider what I pay for my items, it really is for nothing. This painting would have cost me £10 or £20. I haven't checked in my accounts, but this painting really wouldn't have cost me a lot of money. As for the glass here, that's up next. Now we have 7 glass vases, all Scandinavian. Rimaki, Tamara Ladins, they're all Rimaki. Oh, there's another one there. That one's not. Again, Tamara Ladin. Yeah, they're all Rimaki glass vases. Now these have all come in, ranging between £5 and £10 each, and I've sold 7 of them in total for £120. It's not a huge profit, but most of them, let's say, they've been coming in at £5-6 each. So you're talking about 40 quid a cost there, £120 out or back in. Nothing wrong with that. This Scandinavian glass is quite hot at the moment. Next is the big TG Green mixing bowl. Now, how many of you have got or had one of these mixing bowls? There you go. Now it's 1930s. Is it 30s to 50s example? I haven't checked the listing. $1930s. But what made this one special was its size. Most mixing bowls are small. This one was industrial. It was almost 2 foot wide. I don't think I've ever had one as big, to be honest with you. And if you look, I achieved full asking price, £95. And £14 to ship it. Then we have more of this Scandinavian glass, all Ramaki, Lassie and all that, Lassioi, Tamara Ladin stuff again. And this little job lot was 4, and I sold the 4 for £80. So basically £20 a vase. Not bad at all. I'm happy enough with that. Again, they're the same as the others. They've come in, between £5 and £10, but more closer to the £5 range. Here I sold the Hindu brass ganache, but it was a cancelled one because they weren't happy didn't even get shipped out. They bought it, re-looked at it, and they changed their mind. They weren't happy. Something about the elephant, the direction of the head or something. I didn't get involved. I just cancelled the sale. Next, we had a piece I bought from Malvin. Now, I don't know whether you saw the haul video I done from Malvin, but it was spectacular. What did I have? I had Bergman bronze. I had Oriental pieces, Chinese porcelain. I had this, which was a Christopher Dresser design silver-plated teapot. Quite a spectacular looking thing. Now, if you watch the film, you'll know I paid £50 for this. Now, it is designed by Christopher Dresser with the Victorian lozenge mark. Now, I believe this was a later copy. That's why I put the price as such. And it was bought by a friend who then sold it within days for considerably more than what I added up for. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe this was a period one. Next piece I had was this beautiful marquetry inlaid jewellery box. Now, I've had this box for quite some time, but look at the beautiful work on this inlay. I think I've had it for about a year, maybe a bit more. It came into the shop, walked over the door of the shop, full of contents. And I don't think I paid... I bought the contents without really considering the box too much. I don't think I paid much more than £10, £20 for the box. It's a beautiful little thing. Look at that. It's almost the same pattern as the Fostoria glass that you see out there with these cubes. That's very much a Fostoria pattern. And then you had that painted on the inside, which made it absolutely stunning. I rated it anyway. And I asked £75 for it. And as you see here, I achieved 60. So £60 for that, absolutely fine, not a problem at all. And this next piece. I bought this next piece. It was actually a fast moving thing. Let me open it up. Now this, I bought in Gethlygate car boot sale, if you remember. The glass was broke. I hadn't tested to see if it was working. I hadn't pressure tested or nothing. It was a holosteric barometer. Now this meant it was on a ship. It was a ship's barometer. Gardner and Co. Now I dated that to about 1850, 1860, somewhere around there if I remember right. It wasn't in the best of conditions. It was dented quite a bit. Can I see the dents? Yeah, you can see it. The condition wasn't brilliant. However, in Gethlygate car boot sale, I paid £1 for that. Now, I expected this to sell for decent money because people were asking £200, £300 and £400 for these barometers. But the condition let this one down. So I put it on for £49 starting bid on auction. Normally, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't do an auction unless I don't know what something's going to retail out. If I felt I could comfortably ask £125 and get £100 for it, that's what I would have done. But I genuinely didn't know if I'd ever sell it because of the condition. You know, I knew it was worth something, just didn't know how much. So I started at £49 on auction, and sadly, £49 is what it went for. But that's 49 times what I paid for it. Okay, next we have a group of 3 David Copperfield Pickwick Papers brass figures. These are about 3 to 4 inches tall each. So there you have it, just 3 brass figures. In fact, there was 2 identical, so it was only 2 different of the set. But you had 3 brass figures, all of the Pickwick Papers by Dickens. My photos could have done with some. These are old photos. My new photos, they really do stand out something spectacular. The photo does sell the item. However, they still went for £35, so I'm not complaining about that at all. So next piece comes from some supporters. They came down to visit my shop from England last year, Owen and his lovely family. And I bought a selection of things off them. And here we had a pair of trench art jugs. Trench art is basically objects that were made from leftover munition, shells, things like that after the war. Some trench art was done during the time of the war, but majority of it was done with things that were left and scavenged after the war had ended. But we had a nice pair of shell jugs here. They were quite nice. 1917 dated on the base. I was asking £75 for them. I achieved 54, which was more than I was actually expecting, to be totally honest with you. When I bought them off Owen, I think I paid something like £25 for them. The prices were lower than what they were when I listed them. They weren't actually up for sale for that long. This next piece, beautiful thing, really is quite something. So this is a bronze panel. So what we got here is a shipwreck piece. So you're talking a 17th or 18th century bronze panel that was brought up off a ship. Now, how do I know it was a shipwreck piece? Well, I bought it from a diver, and all he was selling was things that had been brought up from the ocean. Stuff was still covered in crustacean and sea life and shells. Now, this bronze panel, you can see the, well, I can't call it oxidization because it wasn't exposed to the air. It was all the reaction from under the salt and the salt water. That would clean back to bronze if you wanted to, but what a shame. Looking at it, it looks oriental. But just a really nice little panel if you wanted it to go in a piece of furniture or something now. Now, I was asking £65 for this bronze panel. As you can see, I actually achieved £50 for it, which was okay, because I think it owed me about £3 or £4 from Splot Flea Market down in Cardiff. That was a really good find. Dug it out of the box. Absolutely loved it, to be honest with you. I would have loved to have used that in a box or a bit of furniture myself if I had something to use it, but it was really nice. As is this next piece. Now, I bought this. I think this one was only a tenner again. I want to tell you what we got basically. We have a 19th century globe and shaft glass decanter. That in itself is nothing really spectacular. However, look at that beautiful enameled set of initials, if you like. Absolutely loved it. The enameling, the quality of that enameling was spectacular, and you don't find enameled glass very often. It's very hard to do. Really was quite something. The top stopper, as you can see, is standard engraved or acid etched, and there's the pattern going all the way around. So as you can see, right next to the enameling, that you had a band of those leaves going around. So that was quite a spectacular decanter. I was asking £85 for it, and I achieved a disappointing £50. However, as I've said, it only cost me around a tenner or something like that, so I really didn't mind letting it go, but it was a beautiful object. Should have ended up on the website, that one. It was good enough to go on the website, but still it sold through eBay. Next, I sold a large Royal Ducks, so Czechoslovakian porcelain dolphin. These have really come down in price. Some of these Royal Ducks animals used to pull big money. You're looking for the little pink triangle on the base. There you go. That's the more modern of the marks. But a nice little object. It wouldn't have come in that cheap, actually. I think I paid something like 15, maybe even £20 for this. Nice item. Sold for £45. It's not the end of the world. Next piece then we have is perfect for Christmas, and let's be totally honest with you. It's an antique silver plate ice or champagne bucket. So you'd fill it with ice, put your bottle of champagne or your bottle of wine in the bucket, produced by Elkington & Co. So real good quality name and a really useful item for around Christmas time. And as you can see, I've done a cracking job of the photography. It looks amazing. I don't clean the insides. On silver, I clean the outside, I won't clean the inside. And it was fully marked somewhere. There you go. There's the Elkington & Co. mark on the base. That was a real nice object, that was, and I sold that for £45, full asking price. Sometimes antiques are seasonal, so you want, Christmas time, decanters, drinking glasses, ice buckets, things like that. Summertime, you want sporting equipment, things like that if you can. No ideal in collectibles and antiques, but there is still areas in which and let me see, Valentine's Day and Christmas jewelry. So you try and theme your products to the time of year. Now this, I don't know if you saw, I bought this, I think it was about 8 weeks ago, 9 weeks ago, in my flea market in Cardiff, Bessemer Road. And that is a pair of Porcelain Bears, produced by Royal Doulton. So they were Royal Doulton porcelain, or bone china, let's have a look. Probably bone china. Either way, they were Royal Doulton. Let's put them down as porcelain, just for argument's sake. Now they owe me £2. That's all they cost me, £2 in Bessemer Road. Absolutely for nothing. I put them on for £50 purely because now when I bought them at £2, I really rated them about £15, £20, £25. But when I looked online, people were asking between £50 and £100 for this model. So why did I only ask what I did? Well, because they only cost me £2. I'm not greedy. I achieved £45 for that £2. I could have held out and had more, but I've sold it in less than a couple of months. I've turned £2 into 45. Now I can go back out and buy someone else with that £45. That's the way I work. I don't always achieve everything I'm asking, and I don't always achieve the best price you can get on things, but you know, I'm getting good prices. This Islamic lamp oil burner, coming from the Malvin haul. If you watched that one, beautiful haul. Some of the best stuff I've had in probably a couple of years, to be honest with you. And this would hang from the ceiling. You could see the chain and hook there, and you would simply just put in your oil and everything. Now I only paid either £4 or £5 for that in Malvin, off antique dealers, shockingly enough. Now I put it up for £55. Now I put it up for £55 and I achieved £40. So I probably had 10 times my money by there. I think it was either £4 or £5 it cost me, and I had £40. So that is spectacular. Again, as was this. This was a beautifully painted piece of 19th century, well, early 19th century Chinese porcelain. It would be belonging to the shipwreck cargo of Texing. Now this one, unfortunately, was damaged. Now you can see this beautiful fungi pattern going around it. Typical pattern for the Texing 1822 shipwreck. But you can see the hairlines running down both sides. One straight down the center there, one down the center there. But it was a beautiful looking piece of porcelain. Now I was 100% on it. It also had a little shop mark there. Real nice piece. I do nice, good, crisp photos, especially of Chinese porcelain. Now I asked £50 for that in damaged condition. And what did I achieve? £45. And that £45, I don't think it took 2 weeks to achieve. So £5 into £45 for a damaged piece of porcelain in a couple of weeks. To be honest, it was spectacular. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And I love Chinese porcelain. It really is the hot ticket at the moment. It's what everybody wants. When you pull in pieces of Chinese porcelain out of house clearances, and some of them are selling them for hundreds of thousands or millions, or a nice piece of jade, that's what everyone wants. They want to find that one piece at a car boot sale or flea market, strike it rich. So next piece, come in, believe it or not, off another dealer. I know that it actually comes to my shop here. And we have a Waterford crystal jug, Glendore. And I think it was 15 or 18 pounds, around that, something. I'd have to double check, but it certainly wasn't over 20 pounds for the jug. And sold for £55. Glendore by Waterford Crystal. With Waterford, let me see if I can find the mark. This one actually had the label on it still, but always check. There you go. But always check that it's signed as well, because people do take labels off and stick them on other glassware. It would have been signed somewhere for me to have sold it, but check as well for a signature if you can. Don't just rely on a label, especially if you're paying a lot of money for the object. Okay, moving on, we had these. I've had for quite a while. Now, I bought these last summer, so I've had these about 14 months. And it is a set of Royal Doulton porcelain miniature fairies, all boxed, set of 6 of them, but they cost me £1.50 each, £3 a pair. So they owe me £9. Pretty little things, all by Roald Dalton. You can see there, Roald Dalton, Disney characters. Now they sold for £40. Now I know it sounds a long time to turn 6 little figures like that from £9 into £40 when you say it's probably about 14-month turnaround. However, that's what it is like in the antiques world. Some things you have for a very long time, some things you'll have for one day. I don't mind. What would you earn in a bank or in an ISA on £9 over a year? A couple of pence. You know, I've done well. I've gained £31 profit on them in a year, so I'm not going to moan. This next piece was a helmet-shaped coal bucket, or log scuttle I've called it, but it was a 19th century helmet-shaped brass log bucket, or early 20th century. Now, why is it helmet-shaped? If you turn it upside down, it literally looks like a helmet. That's as simple as that. I was asking £40 for it. I think I achieved 35. No, I achieved £30. So I was asking 40, I achieved 30. It's a little low, but I've had it a little while also. Think about that one again, probably about 4 months, 5 months. So I didn't mind leaving that go. This next piece, again, came from my Malvern haul. This was a really nice piece of hammered copper, or arts and crafts copper if you like. It was really nice. It was signed Year Zeus. It wasn't 100%. I thought that may have been like a maker's stamp, like Newlin would stamp theirs, or Keswick and things. But it wasn't. It was naming the character here. Now it was all hammered out. The whole pattern was done hammered. And you can see the patina just on the back. Now this, I'm trying to rack my brain, either cost me £5 or £10 in Malvern. I think it was a tenner. You'd have to watch the video to check, but I think it was a tenner. And I sold it for £55. So then I had a porcelain plate, beautiful porcelain plate. Now this one I was unsure what it was. It was coming across to me, it could have been a bit of Derby, could have been Coalport. There was a few factories it could have been. It was quite a spectacular looking thing. It had a puce mark on the back. That's what made me think it might have been Derby. Let me turn there. That little mark, but it just had the right colour for a Derby mark. But beautiful little porcelain plate. I was asking 45 and I achieved 40. There's absolutely loads and loads more. I sold a Lorna Bailey sifter or sugar shaker there for 37. I sold a Leonardo. So this is resin basically, but it's a figure of Elvis whilst he was in the army, attributed to the music legends Silver Dreams. I had 35 for that. A Caithness crystal bowl with an etched pattern. I had 35 for that. Pewter tankard with a glass bottom engraved for the Battle of Britain, 35. Another Lorna Bailey shaker for 35. And it goes on. It's pretty standard things. Bit of roll gold here if anybody's interested in roll gold, 35. So I achieve £1 a gram on roll gold, or I don't sell it. But as you can see, it goes on and on and on. I'm not going to go on all day talking about them. This one here, again, I'll show this one. It came off a subscriber. Well, it didn't really. He took it to Gethley at car boot sale and he was selling it at his stall. I waited at his stall for quite a while and he hadn't come back. And Stephen come across, saw it. They knew I was waiting to get a price on it and bought it. I think it was a tenner we paid. Sold it for £35. I think it took a week, maybe 2 weeks. So that was all right. So it just gives you a variety. Now, bear in mind, my eBay at the moment's been really quiet because I've been so preoccupied. I've been writing articles for the website, for the blogs. I'm doing a how-to blog on my website, so how to do different things. So loads of time's gone into the articles on there. I've also been getting my house prepared, ready for sale. Some news. Once the house is sold, and maybe looking to invest that money into buying a shop of my own rather than renting a shop and going for something bigger. And at the moment, the shop is quite small. So I'm thinking of buying maybe an old church or an old pub, filling it up, going into a bit of furniture, going into some bigger items, still have all the cabinets that I normally have. So pack them full of jewellery, and maybe, depending on the size, maybe even start to rent some cabinets out. So it's interesting times. So at the moment, with everything that's been going on, it hasn't been safe to open up around here. I live in Rhondda and Taff, which is known as RCT, and RCT has had the highest infection rate in the country over the last month. So I have not opened the shop back up. I know it's only 4 weeks to Christmas, but I've kept the shop shut at the moment. But whilst doing that, I've been at my house, not the house I live in. I have another house that is currently vacant. I'm in the process of finishing that off, and that's going up for sale before Christmas. So if that sells sometime next year, there should be enough off that house to buy a shop, and then you'll get to see me shop hunting and building a new antiques shop from scratch again. That might be interesting, but that's probably a year away. I'm probably going to be in this shop for another year, and then I'm looking for something much bigger. I want to go into, if I can, something big, even maybe an old garage or something that used to sell cars, something really big on the side of a main busy road, something along them lines. It hasn't got to be a town centre shop for me, just somewhere with lots of passing traffic. So that's what I'm hoping for. Now, I don't know whether you've visited the website recently. I have around let's say about 300 items listed up for sale currently on the website, and I'm talking they are the cream of the cream, some of the best pieces I own. So you want to go and take a look at them. And my blogs, I'm writing some really good articles on blogs. Recent one I've just done was how to identify crystal from glass, and went into depth on everything about glass and crystal. It's literally, I got a dozen balls in the air and I'm just juggling everything, trying not to drop anything. So it's been a lot on. That's why my eBay's a little down, and my shop take's been down too because I haven't been open. So things have been a little tighter. However, it's all short-term loss for a long-term gain. That's my plans. So with a bit of luck, we'll see where things go. Hope you've enjoyed having a little look at the variety of things I've sold recently. As I say, there were more I could have kept going on, but it was all pretty standard then, getting into just glass decanters and brass ornaments and things all the way down. I wanted to just see the variety of things that I've sold. If you've enjoyed, I would appreciate a thumbs up as always, and don't forget to subscribe for future content of the channel. Thanks for watching.